Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. We have an exciting project for you today. This is my neighbor Nick, and he's been working on this workshop for the last few months, and we just finished installing an awesome solar setup. Now, building a solar setup like this is fairly straightforward. It only requires a few components and some patience putting it all together. For anyone looking to replicate this same setup, I'll do my best to include product links down in the video description for all the components that we used. Now, Nick, what did you want to accomplish by building a solar shed like this?
First of all, who doesn't need more space, right? So
Yeah,
I'm out of space in my garage, it's out of space, I needed more space. But what I didn't want to do is run power off of my grid system out to my shed. So I know a guy that's going to help me out with solar as a beginner. So we put solar on the shed so I can charge my equipment, all of my power tools, have lights, I can work at night. And we got a few extra goodies that we put inside, and we'll show you those here in just a few minutes as well.
Yeah, so let's start with the solar panels on the roof. Now, the first thing you'll notice with this solar workshop is the solar array here on the front. Now, this is a south-facing array. There are three 400-watt solar panels wired together in series for 1,200 watts total. Now, we mounted this solar array using SnapNRack's Ultra Rail with their speed feet. The system comes together really easily, and we just picked up these parts from a local solar supplier. We ran the power through a conduit on the top edge of the ridge over there and then down through the side. Now, to finalize the solar install, we did end up grounding it here at the back of the shed using a grounding rod. Now, usually if you're looking for solar panels like these, you do an online bulk purchase, but you're limited to purchasing them in sets of 10 or larger. So shipping's gonna be crazy expensive and you have to pay tax on that. But we actually found these solar panels, they're brand new locally through a classified. So it's pretty sweet to be able to pick them up super cheap. Wasn't it like 150 bucks each?
$150 each panel, so much less than I was anticipating paying.
Yeah. So if you are doing a project like this, don't look online, look locally. I actually have a whole video about that, and I'll include that down in the video description. But you can find these locally. You don't have to pay shipping. You don't have to pay tax. You can just get them for a super good price. So other than the solar panels that we've talked about that are mounted to the roof, there are some other components that are needed for a system like this, like an inverter, a battery, and a solar charge controller. And so that's what's mounted to the wall here. The batteries are up top in this loft. So let's take a closer look at these so you guys can see how they're laid out. So right here on the wall, we have all of these components mounted together, and you'll notice they all have the same brand on them, and that's actually because LiTime reached out at the same time Nick wanted to do this project. They wanted to sponsor a build, and so it was just perfect. This project came up and they wanted to send out a few components, and you can see this here on the wall, and I just want to break down what's going on. Now, first off, the center of everything are these two bus bars. So you have your positive and your negative bus bar. Basically, all these components tie into these bus bars. So I've loosened this one here just so you can see what's going on. So with the bus bar, you have these studs here that allow you to connect in all the components. So all the positives are going to connect to this here, and all the negatives of each of these devices are going to connect to the negative bus bar. For example, you have your solar charge controller right here. The two battery connections, they go into the positive and negative bus bars. For the 3,000 watt inverter, you have two connections, they go into the bus bars, and then the battery up top goes through these main positive and negative wires that connect to the bus bars. So this allows you to really connect everything together, kind of like Lego snapping together. Now, we did include a disconnect hub here that goes to the battery so we can shut the entire system down. We have this solar array wires coming through the wall. They go through a 20 amp disconnect, and then they are routed over here to the solar input. Now, this charge controller supports 12 to 48 volt batteries. We are using a 12 volt battery. It's a 60 amp charge controller, so it puts out quite a bit of power. And this supports up to 150 volts open circuit, so the three solar panels on the roof in series work just fine with this unit here. We did end up putting a disconnect here so we could shut off the charge controller whenever Nick is not going to be using it, so it's not pulling power from the battery. So that's what this here is a disconnect. Moving up to the inverter, this is a 3,000 watt pure sine wave inverter. We'll be demonstrating how this works a little bit later, but very simple and easy to connect up. We have two jumpers that go to the positive and negative bus bars. Right here is actually a really cool item that LiTime offers. It's an inline shunt that connects up to the battery, so you can see what's going in and out. You can see the state of charge and the voltage of the battery. So I talked about the battery cables going up through the floor, and you can kind of see there's this battery box here. So if we go up into this loft, you can see the battery has a box built up here. So this is a LiTime 200 amp hour 12 volt lithium iron phosphate battery. It has the built-in heaters. He's actually built this box big enough for 2 of these because he does plan to purchase another 200 amp hour battery to give him 400 amp hours of capacity. We have the inline shunt that's up here for that display that I was showing you guys earlier, and we have a 300 amp fuse coming off that battery. So Nick, now that all this is kind of mounted up to the wall, how did you take the power of the inverter and route it into your shed outlets and lighting system?
Well, first of all, it was pretty simple. Now, it does have 4 outlets along the side of the inverter, so if I wanted to plug directly into that, we can do that. But I knew that I needed tools throughout my shed. So I wired it just like you would wire a home. We took off the side of the inverter, there's ring terminals. I ran my 8-gauge wire into a sub panel. Bought this at Home Depot, really simple. Square D 6 panel. I have 3 circuits, 1 for lights, 2 for outlets, each wall.
Now LiTime advertises this 3000 watt inverter to be a pure sine wave output at 120 volts. So I have my oscilloscope plugged into the outlet that's being powered by the inverter, so let's see what it's actually doing. So looking at the screen here, you can see it's putting out 120 volts AC, and swapping over to the oscilloscope, you can see it is also a pure sine wave output at 60 hertz. So it is putting out really good power. So Nick has been using this inverter for about a week now to power all the tools here in this shed. And it's rated at 3000 watts continuous or 6000 watts surge. So what we want to do now is I want to use my clamp meter to measure the inrush current for a couple of these appliances just to see how much surge they actually require to turn on. We have a massive floor air conditioner here, and we also have a saw, so I'm really interested to see how many amps they take. So in order to measure the surge current for this air conditioner, I'm just using this extension cord with the insulation removed. So I have the clamp meter here on the hot wire. It's set to inrush mode. We're just going to turn this on and see how much it pulls. Okay, so if you can see on the screen there, 37 amps startup inrush current. So for the next surge test, we want to power up this DeWalt 12-inch compound sliding miter saw. Now this is rated at 15 amps. This is a hefty saw. Over here, I have my clamp meter on the power wire so we can measure the inrush current. So we'll turn on the saw and then we'll go look to see how many amps it pulled. So for that test, we measured a total of 45.11 amps inrush. So that saw pulls a lot of power and the inverter handled it just fine. So this shed is still a work in progress. He's just barely kind of finishing up some of the trim and kind of the decorative stuff of the shed. But you know, kind of what's your long-term goal? What do you want to accomplish in here? What else do you plan to do putting this together?
So quite honestly, this is my man cave, right?
Sweet.
We just don't have the space. We live in the city. I needed a place to come. The fridge, I've got place mounted up for a TV over here. We're gonna have tool storage along the wall. I still gotta finish the floor. It's been fully insulated for summer and for winter. So again, cooling, I'll heat it in the winter time. And the great thing about it is it's all gonna be right off of my solar system.
So we basically covered all the setup for the solar system inside this shed, but you mentioned to me earlier that you implemented one other thing that's really useful if you have some sort of power outage. Can you explain that a little bit?
Absolutely. So when I designed this whole process, one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I could do was use this power should we lose power to our home. So I've added electrical outlets to the front of our shed here so I can run power cords inside the refrigerators, the freezers, etc. If I needed more power during a power outage, I've got it here in my solar system.
You know, he has the potential to add extra batteries down the road.
And that's the plan, right? So when we built the battery box, right now we've got 1 battery. We're going to add more batteries as we need, and it can store more power in that process.
Yeah, so you can get longer run times if the power's out, or run your air conditioner a longer amount of time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we're coming to the end of the video, and first off, I just want to thank Nick here for being willing to be on camera. But I do want to ask you, maybe some takeaways. Like what did you think about the whole process? Is there any feedback that you would give to LiTime about the equipment? What are some of your thoughts about that?
So a couple of things. One, I'm a beginner, right? This is my first project. That's why I've enlisted you. You're the expert. Setting up the solar system, it took us, the solar panels, it took us an hour. The SnapNRack system was incredible. It was super easy. I could have figured it out by myself. I had your help, thank you.
Yeah.
But we did that in about an hour. The system itself went together very well. A couple of things. When I am working with my tools, the fans kick on in the inverter. It's a little noisy sometimes. The shed itself, it's 12 by 16, not a lot of space. When I have my TV on here, the radio on here, and those are running all the time, it is a little noisy.
We measured, when we tested it, we measured around 70 decibels. So the fans are a bit loud on the inverter.
They are a bit loud. But overall, super thankful to have the system. And thanks to LiTime for providing that for us. I'm really very pleased. The 3,000 watt system, we did go with 12 volts. Maybe in the future we go with 48, something bigger. We'll see what happens.
Well guys, thank you so much for watching the video. If you happen to like the content, please smash the thumbs up button. Also, I'll have Nick keep an eye out on the video, just watching the comments. If you guys have any questions about any of this shed build or anything that you guys saw in here, throw it down there and he'll keep his eye out for any of those comments. But overall, been a super fun project. I think it was really fun to kind of get it all put together, and I'm excited to see what you think about solar.
It was pretty cool. Thank you. Hit the subscribe button. He's really good. And send the comments.
See you guys.